There is a lot of hue and cry on the subject National Education Policy 2020. Some of them think it will be implemented soon without having any understanding on the subject very clearly. They are trying to tilt the matter on their side. Some seriously criticize it. To those, I say it is only a policy, not a law. Many such policies are still in the shelves of Indian Parliament to pass, and some of them have been passed, but yet to be implemented not. It is not the matter needs sudden outburst from somebody. It is a policy of the government to implement for the next 20 years from 2021 to 2040. From the previous policies, many of them still to be dusted out because most of them were kept to freeze because of the relentless opposition from many state governments and other agencies. Many good suggestions by many visionaries like Dr. Radhakrishnan, Lakshmana Swami Mudaliar, Dr. D.S. Kothari, and then National Knowledge Commission under the chairmanship of the eminent scholar Sam Pitroda. Some committees under Dr. Ramamurthy, Janardhana Reddy, and then the National Curriculum Framework in 2005. And finally, before Kasturi Rangan, the Knowledge Bank of India, Professor Dr. Ashpal, were inexorably opposed to by state governments on the name of caste, creed, religion, and ritual, and many other traditions, and on the name of languages. And really these laws could not be implemented because of the very strong resistance against them towards passing, and they opposed it with their tooth and nail. So some of them are still to be kept to be implemented. The implementation of its proposal depends on any policies. Implementation should be dependent on further regulations by both state and center, as education is a concurrent subject. Some of the states may pass some extra bills to escape from some of the harmful policies they feel and add water to the pure milk and keep their interest to pacify their own regional and linguistical feelings. Most of the parties don't like to disturb their vote banks. They don't want to bring any other harmful things to take away their immediate votes. So I would like to say, even an Einstein Commission is appointed to revamp the educational policy. Some of the good sides will be tough to implement and will be opposed by others in Indian scenario. Educational policy of India highly depends on vote bank politics of the country than the educational development. Whether the policy aims to bring good changes or not, it should not be considered. Today, we can discuss some of the salient features of new educational policy by Dr. Kasturi Rangan Committee. The policy gives a pivotal role to the student than the study. It aims to improve the basic and comprehensive development of the learner than the teacher. Teacher here plays only the role of a good facilitator. CC in CBSE curriculum before also was implemented aiming the same. But what happened? And the system widespreadly misused and defined according to their own interest by various boards, and some of the schools under their voracity totally tarnished the image of the education part, and eventually then it led to the decay of the well-established outline. The benefactors and the beneficiaries eventually turned against the system. Finally, Birds think to get it back, bring the cat back to their sack, and the system was deleted. Like many things may happen in this educational curriculum, then policy also, it is very prominent to identify and find a solution to the problem. How the flaws in the system be malinterpreted and misused by the educational institutions in favor of them. First one, they should identify what are the ways it may be malinterpreted and exploited. Such flaws should be deleted first, then it shall be implemented. Avoiding such tendencies and reducing the drawbacks are very much vital to the successful launching of a policy. But unfortunately, such efforts are not being taken by the Ministry of Human Resource yet before launching the system. Particularly, some of the facts like language, religion, caste, and creed are highly vulnerable and inflammable in our Indian scenario. Just before touching it, we should think and discuss with others how can we implement it, how can we then implement the same. The policy aims to make definitely the policy aims to make India a global knowledge superpower. It is very important to India when we understand India is the largest market which imports intellectuals to the world supermarket of knowledge. Moreover, we can read it as an attachment to post-COVID India that is searching for the new possibilities in many impossibilities. We also have to make out that we do not have any internationally accredited higher education institutions, even though we are the largest importers of intellectuals to the world market. Then why there are still such policies that we have to think? Then why then we fail to then set up such institutions? It is this new education policy is the real answer to many such questions. The new education policy intends to bring some systematical changes in our exam-ridden education system. Rightly said, our present education system is 365 days continuous feeding, 3 hours continuous vomiting, and 10 minutes laboratory check in the name of exam results. Such a system cannot evaluate a child's intelligence. A slight headache or then a slight fever or a bad cold before the exam harmfully affects the future of a student. That type of system must go. Hence, the new commission plans some systematical changes in its exam pattern. Exam will be conducted in 2 parts, the objective and descriptive part. It also plans to conduct twice a year. Board exams should promote this type of board exams. They plan to promote knowledge of application rather than not learning. It tries to promote the critical thinking and problem solving ability among children instead of scoring some marks in exams by using their ability by hearting portions very randomly. The policy advocates the schools and colleges to prepare the students for the 21st century by changing themselves structurally and systematically. Students will get a holistic report card which carries not only his marks but also his skills and other important points. How a child faces the difficulties before him or her through the practical modes which he or she obtains from the newly acquired skill based education instead of information and knowledge based education pattern. It recommends the importance of vernacular medium for promoting science and culture. When a student from when the students from European and American countries come out with 5 or 6 skill-based trades, a student from our school comes out with only a colorful progress card. What a contradictory and ironical the situation is. So the other students of other countries faces the challenges very boldly, but our students are getting failed, and many of them, lot of them committing suicide after having many colorful degrees too. This approach, this type of pattern shall be changed. Then it also gives such a policy. It does not help him surviving the present stressful world. Hence, our new policy recommends skill education from the school level. Living with the 21st century is its paramount push. Don't forget, policies of 1986 and its amended version in 1996 emphasized the same, but the decorated bull we can find in the same stable after 25 years too, without any symmetrical change. Still it is being kept in that decorated bull in our stable. That is our education today. This new education policy is an answer to such failed implemented plans. So the new NEP put forward the drastic development in skill development rather than knowledge-based education. It clearly states that the primary education depends on the interest of both the parent and the child. But it says it should not happen in the higher education. It only depends on the interest and the talent of the student. At the primary stage, it ensures the numeric and linguistic ability and simultaneously make interest among the children towards vocational basic vocational education pattern. The new education policy endeavors to enable the child to acquire integral personal development and empower the child on what he or she needs to survive in our present circumstances. It not only aims to bring changes in personal matter, but also gives them potential to contribute his high thinking ability to uplift the society and economy of the country. Every child to learn at least one occupation and exposed to several more vocational fields. Important vocational crafts such as carpentry, electric work, metal works, gardening, pottery making. It is as decided by the states and local communities during grades 6 to 8. Our new policy tries to make at least 50% of the learners through the school and higher education system shall have exposed to vocational education. Hence, each and every school becomes a hub of flaring activity, and schools should set up their own workshops and lights for vocational education. Another important feature of NEP is a 10-day bagless period. That means bagless period, no text or no such discussions, only a bagless period, 10-day bagless period, sometime during grades 6 to 8 to in turn with local vocational experts, gardeners, porters, artists, and others. Look how happy our children with the local experts of their own village, or the local people. They are getting trained for various things. They will be very happy. They may escape from such boring hours. The new education policy plans the same too. Next one, it also promotes experiential learning, including hands-on learning, art integrated and sports integrated education, the storytelling-based pedagogy, and among others. Then, as the standard pedagogy, it promotes. Classroom transactions will be shifted towards competency-based learning and education. Then it is like your present Kerala state education mode. The competency-based education. The child is being evaluated continuously. The child should know what are the things he learns from the class. The facilitator, the teacher, is evaluating that one continuously and making out the drawbacks of his learning process, and it enables him to impart and new technical measures. It is a look, but unfortunately, in our present state system also, I am coming to the present state system, but unfortunately, the system is not being changed to grace mark than uplifting system. Both liberalized evaluation and grace marks dwindled down the standard of it. But they were still the state governments and their education department fanfare that everything is application level. But the outcome, there we can understand that the outcome of the state education board touches very poor rate in this other present stage. The outcome is very poor. Then there is no doubt. But the other boards, they are having a very good outcome. A rate of outcome is very good. But the state boards fail to cope up with the same. The mandated content will focus on key concepts. Out of the new education policies, the mandated content will focus on key concepts, ideas, application, and problem solving. Teaching and learning will be conducted in a more interactive manner. It also says it ensures the space to critical thinking, a more holistic inquiry than a discovery and analytical based. Another salient feature of NEP is various tactics to improve linguistical studies. It plans introducing games in lower levels to make language study very interesting. Then we can look into the matter. How can they promote linguistical study then in more interesting way? It introduces apps, many apps, cinemas, plays, storytelling, to introduce music, and art to prop up linguistical talents. The commission says it doesn't try to inflict any language forcefully on our students. NEP wants to promote trilingual language studies through school curriculum, keeping Sanskrit as an optional language. Students have the opportunity to study other classical languages, and they may take part in the interesting project works in various other Indian languages from 6 to 8. Secondary students have the perspective to learn many foreign languages in this educational policy too. They have many other options. Secondary students have the prospect to learn many foreign languages with the same. Another systematical change it advocates to the early childhood care and education curriculum will be set up by the joint collaboration of Ministry of Human Resource Development, Women and Child Development, Health and Family Welfare Department, and the Department of Tribal Affairs. The prior to the age of 5, every child move to the preparatory class or Balavatika. That means before the first class. Then which is an ECC, really it is controlled by, don't forget, an ECC qualified teacher. And the qualified teacher will attend these children. When our actor Srinivasan, recently when our actor Srinivasan said about it to implement, many criticized him very severely, attacked him very severely. He also pointed out the same, the need of the same. The new education policy also put forward the same. Early stage of education should be handled by a trained teacher. But unfortunately, most of our nurseries and balavatikas are infested with untrained teachers. Everybody, I don't sure. Everybody, I am not saying. But most of them. Most of our nurseries and balavatikas are filled with untrained teachers alone. Politically motivated boss. There is no doubt. The politically based selection of these teachers harmfully affected the growing generation, particularly when he or she shows the signs of mental growth. Renovation on this part of education is very essential and inevitable. The new education policy can bring a systematical change on this matter, I feel. NEP says the foundation course starts from the age of 3. Nursery, LKG, first and second standard are included in the foundation course. The preschool, then 3 years, first and preschool years, first and second standard. There the well-trained teachers teach the students by various plays. To promote their character, how to develop their character, how to promote value-based education, their personal hygiene, their intermingling, their cooperation. Then all of these things are given importance and should be taught. So schools get a very transformed children to be trained, and it gives them a nice personality and tremendous changes. But the same balavatikas may be controlled by social justice department of the state, and eventually the administration goes to the hands of local bodies, and they will make the matter very once again, and the selection of teachers once again goes to the imperfect hand, and the real aim here should be doubled. If it go, if they let it if they let it go like it, the same will happen. The real aim should be toppled, should be defeated. If they continue the same appointment manners in our balavatikas or nurseries. I don't like to hear finally it becomes a confession before a vicar after being failed to execute it. The next stage is preparatory stage. It includes 3 to 5th. It aims a basic shift from place to study. There starts their career planning. It plans to set up a conversational and debate mode study, and moreover an experience with text, basic information gathering in all subject is a paramount aim in preparatory level. Also, it tries to promote reading, writing, conversation, arts, then arts and sports culture, linguistic, linguistic and basic mathematics in vernacular medium. Don't forget that one. It is in vernacular medium. The next stage is the middle stage from 6th to 8th. There the subjects are handled by specialized teachers, and also NEP recommends vocational training in its middle stages. The next stage is the secondary stage, where classes from 9th to 12th. Then it seeks very deep and profound study in this phase. Critical thinking, application level education, aimful education, other are the significant point in secondary stage. There they can select their preferable subject and they can pursue their match to their definite aim or their definite but. There will be no distinction between curricular and extracurricular activities on this regard. Then also there is not much difference than among than arts and humanities, science and vocational subjects, than and academic activities. It gives them opportunity to pursue their interest, and they may get a break to shift from one field to another. Really, it's a good change. Then they may get a break to shift from one field to another. Then they have the right to do that. It makes the classroom very lively, interesting, and creative. Now the present structure reduces the students to single subject because a lot of entrance tensions. What is really happening with this entrance tensions? The students are getting prepared to medicines or engineering only. Then it is because of the same we may lose the high class professionals like teachers, good scientists, and then various other fields. Then lack of this type of experts, then it may cause, because most of the talented students are getting selected to then medicine or then other engineering fields. So other fields then lacks professionals. The NEP here then bring a good suggestion to create the good and efficient professionals in all fields through it. It shall be a chance to study any subject widely if they like. It gives opportunity to students to appear further subjects as their interest. It saves students from a rigid examination written pattern. The criteria of examination should not be measure mere memory power and waste time for long coaching. It tests the profound knowledge in subjects primarily and basically. It proposes 2 chance board exams. One is the main and the other is the chance to improve the marks. It really reduces the pressure and entrance coaching culture. I think it is the right drug for the feeble educational syndrome. It says about the educational line at each phase, then improving the physical and basic amenities. Look at some of the students. Even the students who are at the 10th year cannot solve some simple numerical problems. It is because the lack of competency-based education. Then, so I told you, it is the right drug for such students and such then a bad pattern of education. It emphasizes to ensure such development can be achieved by the child when he or she arrives at 5th standard. 85% of the rapid intellectual growth takes place before 6th or at 6. Children should learn other languages also very well during this period. So the educational curriculum recommends them teach some other languages. They will study it. Then they will be proficient in 2 or 3 languages. So the policy suggests they implement such languages in this stage. Suppose you can understand that a child easily by heart a song or poem in any language when they hear it once or twice. Look, they are able to do that. Like language also, they will learn like this. Hence, this age is catching them in this age is very important. Our new policy also gives stress on this sector. From 6th class onwards, they are mentally fit to study vocational courses. So the policy then tries to implement vocational courses from 6th class onwards. Look at the children who are studying in 6th or 7th. They are faster than other children in doing mobile-based applications and other related fields. But the children from 9th class seriously think about the independent education. So the policy tries to promote them to be very active in higher studies. And how can they excel in 21st century skills? They have taken they are taking a decision here. Really, everyone knows the Indian concept of education. Acharyal Padamadatri, Padam Shishya Sumethaya, Padam Sabrahmacharyabhyam, Padam Kalakramenatu. So, the basic Indian concept of education. Acharyal Padamadatri, Padam Shishya Sumethaya, Padam Sabrahmacharyabhyam, Padam Kalakramenatu. Look, then our policy, the new policy also aims the same. Another concept of Indian education system that you know, then Shikshai Prashninam, Shikshai Abhiprashninam. Then we have to ask questions from all the fields to know. Then the teacher shall be perennially questioned by the students. Shikshai Prashninam, Shikshai Abhiprashninam. From all the sets, we have to ask questions then to learn. Look, NEP also tries to bring it into effect. Such a critical thinking, such an application level based education. The CBSE school feels that it gives much importance to the mother tongue or vernacular based education. How do they survive if vernacular medium implemented for science and technical subjects? Now only they survive because of English. Already the English subject is killed by present simplicity and elaborative mark granting. No doubt, which shames our state boards too. The plight of language is deplorable at present with our CBSE curriculum 100%. If it is extended to science and technical subjects, as an English teacher I am saying, definitely as an English teacher I am saying, definitely the standard of our present elaborative mark granting system totally kills English subject. It must go. The plight of language is very, very deplorable. If it is extended to science and technical subjects, also no doubt it will be a massacre. Look, they are going to be taught science and other technical languages in vernacular language. It may deteriorate the standard of CBSE schools, no doubt, because most of the parents depend on the CBSE schools to promote their English. If we lose that tight grip, how can a CBSE school survive? This will be a big question. Big question before them. Survival of the fittest also cannot work here. Like a meteor, it falls on them. A havoc will be the result. If they lost the English smell, they cannot compete with the state boards. Their technical team and the vocational team and the training team will be a great threat to CBSE, CBSE board schools and systems. How to manage how to manage? They should think very seriously. How to survive this situation? The CBSE schools together discuss. There are some dangers, definitely some dangers. To CBSE schools regarding this system. But really, NEP is also saying NEP doesn't give any very stringent consideration regarding it. NEP says, but the vernacular medium is good to implement in science and other various technical languages. It is good, but how does it affect CBSE schools? We should think. NEP sorry, NEP backs the vernacular medium as teaching medium because the first thought of they think really they implemented this idea to NEP. Why? Because the first thought or idea formed in a student's mind in or his or her mother tongue. Other languages follow it. They say European countries like France, Germany, Asian countries like Japan and China follow the same methods and highly successful in promoting science and other technical fields. So, NEP and Kasturi can also think the same. But now, how long it may take? It depends on how our higher studies change and evaluation patterns change. Everything they study in vernacular medium, and if the higher education report stands still, it becomes a disaster, no doubt. Suppose everything in school level then it should be changed, and the higher level, the higher education stands still. It is because of some universities. How can we succeed? It will be a great threat, and the entire aims shall be toppled there. That will be the coup. So, the higher education system also will be changed with the same pattern, the school education system. But then we can understand that with all the experimentation, all the experiments, all the experts are conducted in our school system only. But nothing should be done to improve our higher education. The present scenario is the result of the same. Then NEP may then bring some good change in this case, I think. Look, it is not a single day miracle. A long process, even though what may avoid to our students, I don't know. Whatever it is, whatever it is changing, our students as guinea pigs for a long time. How long? How long can our students be the guinea pigs? Because all the time they are getting the experimented. They are the guinea pigs or the white rats here. All the experiments they are conducting on them, but no result. No remedy is being found. No remedy is being found to improve their talents. All the time they are implementing the same also again and again. How long? From 1947 onwards, they are the experimental animals. Our students are the experimental animals. How long it may continue? Again and again. Still they plan to implement till 2040. How does it work? I don't know. The radical changes in our higher education. NEP attempts, hence it plans to continue till 2040 because it is really like a play with fire. Some sudden changes we need. Definitely. They have to think up and down, the south and north, the front and reverse, the percussions and repercussions, actions and reactions, because it determines the future of the country. It is very tough to escape if any flaws in execution. So the NEP takes a very safe distance to the higher education. That means they should come very close to the higher education, and they should do something with the higher education. If the entire system will be failed, it plans to demolish the entire sector by setting up 3 kinds of universities: research intensive universities, teaching universities, autonomous universities. All the deemed universities and affiliated universities, then affiliated technical universities only become simple universities. That is a good suggestion. NEP plans to make then every college a self-governing degree granting colleges. It means self-sufficiency. It means they shall then grant graduation to students directly. That is also a good suggestion. But unfortunately, in the future, the states like Kerala and other states like northern states and other states, widespread malpractices may occur. Such of freedom to grant degrees may bring lot of problems, that also no doubt. It dreams all the higher education institutions will be changed to a multidisciplinary in 2040. Then it's a gradual change. Integrated programs and research activities shall be promoted widely, they plan. Now PhD granting is not connected to any research work. Only students try to hold it as a degree for mere teaching purpose. There is no research. They are doing it for some teaching purpose and acquiring PhDs and joining some institutions and over. Their PhD research is over. They are not continuing the process. Then it is the result of the lack of professionals in our country, the good scientists. But our institutions force their teachers to hold the degrees without having any interest in this field. Most of them are doing PhD degrees and acquiring PhD degrees and coming out with the PhD degrees. Then what is the use? What is the use to the country? Nothing. The NEP would likes to bring change in that field. They continue and complete PhD very laboriously here and completing it and bringing some contributions to the country. NEP plans. We can look into other countries regarding the research works. Japan, China, USA, European countries, and they win many coveted Nobel prizes. But even though we are then a lot of PhD holders here, there are how many can then win a Nobel prize? And very less. Then we can count with our fingers our then Nobel Prize laureates. Then the other countries not it is the result. Then a lot of research purpose. They are giving their own contribution to the science and research purpose then as a PhD holder. But India, they are keeping their certificate. They are acquiring. Then still keeping in their shelves, and they are not doing any then further research works. And it is it is because of this tendency. It is the tendency. We plant every day. The Indian university supplies PhD degrees like ration cards without having any use. NEP tries to bring change in this field also. How many of them able to make a new research paper and produce the same before any international communion think? Very less. Then 5 or 6 or then 10 or 11 international papers from India every year. We can figure their numbers. Already told you that we can figure their numbers. But it is very ironical that lakhs and lakhs of PhD holders are then wandering without jobs in our country. Then very deplorable and pathetic our research field. NEP brings some systematical changes here. Then I feel. Then promote it in the higher secondary level. There will be many Jesse Boses we can produce, many Abdul Kalams we can promote, many Sahas, many Bhavas and CV Ramans, many CV Ramans we can produce. If we continue the same education policy, if we implement the same education policy. And also tries to bring all professional campuses under single umbrella. Medical colleges, engineering colleges, then law colleges, everything on a single campus. So it helps the students to mingle each other and they can share their knowledge one another, and it further expands the wide arena of relations and promote cooperation among various persons in various sectors. It helps to improve knowledge, application levels and critical thinking ability. Everything will be strengthened if they continue the same pattern. It strengthens higher education. Now, not about it strengthens higher education and its efficiency. Further, it suggests a single entrance examination for selection of students to various universities using national testing agents. There will be 2 entrance examinations in a calendar year in common aptitude test and the test for selecting students in the streams science, humanities, language, arts and vocational courses. It is spreads to graduations, post graduations and various fellowships. Some foolishness also be mentioned in it. An allopathy doctor should learn the basic Unani, Ayurveda, Siddha, homeopathy, etc. I'm not at all happy with this suggestion. Then this suggestion may be highly foolish, I feel. The conglomeration of all this one together brings some danger, I feel. Such foolish recommendations put the medical structure into an ultimate collapse and leads the medical sector into an impasse, no doubt. It kills many. It kills many instead of saving many. Ayurveda is good, no doubt. It is our traditional medicine also. Well, then, only advice. Our new NEP is like the old wine in the new bottle of in some extent. But it is very essential to implement to save our decaying educational roots. Even though there are a lot of good suggestions in it, there are good suggestions. Then it should be implemented in some cases, and some should be deleted. And there is no doubt. Some are harmful, but most of them are good. I feel that on the Indian education, the new policy of national education. Thank you all.